everything is a go. It's time we get started. All right. We are live in good old Lithonia, Georgia. So, yeah, I don't know where to begin here. Other than, for those of you who have for those of you who have resigned to not listen to the disclaimer, I'll read it out for you. After watching Marvel's new movie Beast on comics' first African superhero, I decided to form some opinions of my own based on it. Be warned, these are my opinions and mine alone. Also, watch this after you watch Black Panther. This live is not for the overly sensitive and weak-minded. So, yeah. For those of you who are getting in, for those of you who are joining, for those of you who are watching this live broadcast, I'm Showa60. Some of you might know me by another name, Wataru Kurenai. My real name's Dwayne. We're going to leave it at that. Today, I'm just going to talk about my little personal experience with the Marvel Cinematic Universe's newest offering, The Black Panther, which is based off of the original story. Now, despite the fact that we got this movie, and a lot of people are just now coming in, one thing to keep in mind is that this isn't the first time we see Chadwick Boseman's interpretation of Marvel's first ever black superhero. No. His first appearance in the MCU was in Civil War, which was 2 years ago. And I gotta say, it's a very, very, very cool movie. It's really awesome. Like, Civil War is a nice movie. I just don't like the story that they used as their source material, but it made the very concept at least semi-tolerable, which is fine by me, and I don't mind. So we got that taken care of. But I will say this concerning Black Panther's debut appearance in that movie. It was really cool. Like, we got a glimpse of what the Black Panther is known to be. Like, he jumps into shit. He's very impulsive in certain instances, but he is a very quick learner. Now, how they handle, like, his beginnings is also pretty interesting with that as well. It's kind of like a prologue to what we will see from him. It's kind of a similar case with Spider-Man, but I digress. Gecko, welcome to my Instagram stream. Great to see you. You're just in time. I'm talking about Black Panther. But yeah, when he showed up into the scene, it was really cool. Yeah. When T'Challa showed up in the scene, it was really cool. It's just kind of messed up that his father died in a bomb explosion in Vienna. That brought in a lot of feels. Just seeing T'Challa just break down and go ape crap insane and threaten to kill the man responsible, who he assumes is the Winter Soldier, which is a bunch of BS, which we later found out that it was Zemo, who basically wanted to tear the Avengers apart, but not before killing a couple of people in the United Nations. As if the Sokovia Accords, which were already hinted at in Age of Ultron, weren't enough. So we have that. He fights with Team Iron Man in Civil War and basically shuts down Hawkeye when he introduces himself by simply saying, "I don't care." I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Clint. I'm sorry, Barton. It's... you'll get your chance. You and Black Widow. Now, I know MCU is already working on a Black Widow movie, which is, speaking from a personal experience, about darn time. It's something I want to see. I want to see both Black Widows and Hawkeye's own individual movies, which is going to be weird since a lot of the cast is a lot older now, since 2008. And then you have the Incredible Hulk. But, yeah. And then there's the post-credit scenes. Well, mid-credit scene. Like the scene before, right before the credits, where Steve Rogers and T'Challa try to restore the Winter Soldier after T'Challa found out that it wasn't Barnes that killed his father. Like, it's good that we get to see some of the heavy hitters for Black Panther as early on as 2 years ago, which is really nice. I just fucking hate Civil War. I don't hate the movie, I just hate the concept they used for it. It's similar to the original comic, and it just irks me to death. Now, that out of the way, let's talk about the main series at large. Chances are this isn't going to be a very long stream, but I don't care. I just want to get my opinions out. And I know I've been BSing for the past 6 minutes and 26 seconds right now. But, yeah, let's talk about Black Panther. Now, ever since the trailer for Black Panther came about, a lot of hype has been going on. Not to mention a lot of controversy, which I really feel uncomfortable talking about. I have a distinct impression that Black Panther's mentioning was poorly timed, mainly because of the community, mainly because of the type of the community we come into. But me, at this particular point, it's like, I just want to know if the movie is good or not. I don't care about anything else. I just want to know this will live up to what Marvel Studios is about. And for the most part, Marvel has delivered. At least with the movies that I watched. Like the first set of movies before the first Avengers movie came out. We've had a couple of other movies. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy was cool. Avengers Age of Ultron was nice. Incredible Hulk was good, except for the fact that Edward Norton was kind of a dick out of universe. But in universe, he did a superb job. We got all these heroes. Some of them have been introduced early on. And now we're getting 3 movies in 2018. Black Panther being one of them. Avengers Infinity War, which is coming soon, which a lot of people are freaking hyped about. And then we got Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is coming in July, I think. So that's good. Yeah, man, but Black Panther has been doing real, but the hype building up to Black Panther has been huge. But again, as I say, it's not above controversy, as Twitter and various forms of social media just blew up. Some people went out of proportions. We got tons of internet memes, especially a lot of people in the black community. Let's not dance around that. Planning on going into the movie theaters, watching Black Panther in dashikis. Some of which show up with a little chip on their shoulder, expecting the message of, hey, screw America, go to Wakanda, it's a lot better. On one hand, the anti-American sentiment is kind of real with some of these folks, and they're not wrong in that aspect. But on the other hand, it's kind of overblown, and it's based on some timely deep-seated hatred over everything else. Like, we've had people go to advanced screenings of it, forming their own opinions about it. We've had people, there are like various outreach programs and stuff planning for the screening of Black Panther. Rightfully so, because let's just say this right here and now. A lot of people, especially those going in their dashikis, in African garb, there is a message to be had for them, and that's how they feel about it, so kudos to them. And if you're one of these people, more power to you. It's nice, it's really cool to know that you got something out of it. I know a lot of people, especially the non-black folks and non-pro-black individuals who saw this movie, saw a great Marvel film, saw a great masterpiece, saw a great representation for one of history's greatest comic book heroes. That part I can fully understand and back. Now, that said, we're truly about to come to the point where I talk about the movie and show that my opinions do not coincide with the general consensus. So, yeah. Now, for those of you who refuse to read the description below, keep in mind there's going to be spoilers. So if you have not watched Black Panther, if you have not watched it, please do not watch this live stream. Go to your local movie theater, go to your cinema, get yourself some popcorn and some good food if you've got the money for it, and watch Black Panther. When I say spoilers, I'm gonna tell you one right now. It is awesome. To those of you who saw it as a great movie, that is good. Alright, that I can dig, Gecko. Now, so then, Black Panther. Now, I'm gonna tell you straight up my short answer for what I think of this movie. It may surprise you. I think Black Panther is practically one of the coolest movies that Marvel has ever delivered. The fact that it got $108 million, half of it for reasons that I don't feel comfortable getting into until later on, it's well merited, actually. The $108 million, especially in its second weekend, which I was fortunate enough to get into, was well merited. Like, it's a great film. It's a great take on a great comic book hero, which has been one step closer to being overlooked. I say that because it's like, as soon as you hear MCU take on it, it's like everyone's straight out of nowhere with it. Unless you're a longtime Marvel fan. Sadly, I'm a bit of a filthy casual in this aspect, since I'm hardly into Marvel comics like that. And I think the real issue with that is not identity politics, not the ridiculous, overly preachy messages they've been cooking up over the past few years. No, my real issue is the constant reimagining, writing, and changes that they have constantly made with their heroes over the years. Now, the previous statements I've said might have had a hand in that, but the real issue lies in the constant alternate universes. Now, I can buy why they do that on the reason that they want to appeal to modern audiences, but at the same time, it's like, it brings about a lot of unnecessary confusion and it pisses me off. Okay, now, before I get off tangent, we're heading to spoiler territory now. So, like Civil War before, the movie starts off in the 90s, in this case, 1992. We see two big dudes in an apartment building. They have guns, they got all sorts of weird looking stuff. And look who decides to show up. It's the previous generation Black Panther who just got killed in Civil War. I know that sounded pretty creepy, but yeah. So the So all of them start talking, and then things get really crazy when they start saying, yeah, we got a couple of spies who basically mucked it up and took some vibranium on them. So this resulted in a lot of deaths. Like, the shaman priest, the guy who would be the shaman priest, who would eventually be played by Forrest Whitaker. Good God, I haven't seen that guy in a long time. I definitely need to get out more. Yeah, he covers his own ass while T'Chaka's brother is stabbed to death. So yeah, he gets away scot-free while the previous Black Panther stabs his brother to death for betrayal. So, not only that, they keep the whole thing a secret. And so one of the spies and T'Chaka leaves, and we see this young boy, which I assume is going to be Eric Killmonger in the future. Well, actually, it's kind of confirmed in the film, but still. He sees all this, and he finds out that his father dies. Then we fast forward to present day, where we meet T'Challa, who now dons the Black Panther suit, played by Chadwick Boseman. And one of my favorite lines from the trailer and commercial spots, where one of his royal guards is like, "Don't freeze," and then Black Panther's like, "I never freeze." Gotta admit, it's kind of funny. But when he goes on when he gets started on his mission and start wailing on these people who kidnap a few people, who kidnap some of the Wakandans and such, he freezes at the end of the fight. And lo and behold, his ex-girlfriend, one of the royal generals, was actually on a mission herself, and everything just goes straight to crap. So yeah, mission ends, blah blah blah. They all return home, and T'Challa's sister Shuri, my gosh, she's the most savage character I've ever seen. But yeah, let's take a minute to just say that T'Challa's ex-girlfriend, who is eventually the love interest in the movie, is kind of cute. Like, she is pretty hot, not gonna lie. So they get everything ready for T'Challa's ascension to the throne as King of Wakanda. And I like the setup. It's pretty cool. Like, everything is good. And what's cool about it is that... Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to mention, like, the story of how Wakanda became famous for its vibranium. Like, millions of years ago, this vibranium meteor shows up and basically engulfs a certain African nation of Wakanda. Various tribes shared their vibranium and stuff and use it for various purposes, blah, 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 yakety yak. Okay, T'Challa's ascension to the throne. Everything's good. His powers as Black Panther are wiped away as he begins to fight. The Jabari tribe shows up, and boy, do they make one hell of an entrance. And just when T'Challa is about to win, Jabari's king is like, "Please kill me," and then Black Panther, and then T'Challa's like, "No, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to let you live because there's too much bloodshed. I want you to have a nice story to tell on how you took that L by my hand, and now I get to keep the throne." And right before he can formally be king, he meets his father in the astral. He meets his father in the next life before he gets started for some guidance or whatever. The things I could say about this poor bastard. But I'll leave that alone. So yeah, T'Challa is now king of Wakanda. He explores the nation that he's now ruling over. But yeah, the first order of business: find Claw. Meanwhile, in London, which as far as I'm concerned is the city of Atlanta, I know because they tried to make the High Museum of Art look like the museum in London, looks like one of London's museums. They ain't slick. They're not slick. It's here we meet Michael B. Jordan's character, Eric Stevens, aka Eric Killmonger, who is exploring the African exhibit. He stumbles across a mysterious hammer, which is originally from Wakanda. And I'm just gonna be upfront right now about his character. The guy is your standard uppity ass, bougie ass, pro-black stereotype. It was like, fuck the white people. Their ancestors are slave drivers. Blah 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 blah. We get it. You can't stand white people for whatever the hell reason. Yet you work with one. Anywho, he tells the curator that the hammer that he just found was made of vibranium. Rightfully so, since it's revealed that he is from Wakanda. Well, he is of Wakandan heritage, actually. He's born in the U.S. His dad is Wakandan. His mom's American, blah, blah, blah. Details. But it also turns out that his visit at the museum is actually a setup to steal certain artifacts, most notably the vibranium hammer. But yeah, about him working with a white dude. Claw. Yeah, Claw from Age of Ultron, that bastard. He's not funny. Well, both in universe, he's not funny. He makes shit jokes. And he is the whitest dude I've ever seen. He's the whitest villain I've ever seen, period, since Age of Ultron. Since his appearance in Age of Ultron. Like, seriously. But anyway. His little girlfriend, if we want to call her that, is also in on this whole setup. So they make with the hammer. He also steals the mask because he likes it very much, and they go away. Blah blah blah. Yak yak. So Shuri creates a new suit for our new king of Wakanda, which is really cool. Like, it's one of those suits where you can just straight up transform right off the fly. It reminds me of some of the tokusatsu suits that you see. It's really cool. All that's missing is him yelling out Henshin, but that would make the movie extraordinarily corny and lessen its impact as the coolest thing ever. But yeah, him and his royal guards go to South Korea, where Claw is said to be going to. And during the mission, T'Challa meets his buddy from the CIA, Everett K. Ross, aka the dude that we just saw from Civil War. I like Ross. He's cool peoples, which is more than I can say for Claw. Maybe it's because I hate Claw on the principle that he is a supervillain. I don't know, but let's move on. But one of the royal guards, she is just ready to kill somebody. She's just, the bald lady with the spear. She's ready to kill some fools. Like, you see it in her character. She is ready. Like, she is just straight up savage. She wants to cut a few heads off. That's how she is. So, the plan is ultimately a bust, mainly because Claw shows up with some weapons, and bald lady with the spear, that's what I'm going to call her for the rest of the movie, she is just anxious as hell. Things go to crap, and there is a fight. T'Challa finally transforms into his new suit. Shuri remote control pilots a car that he uses, and we see the suit in action. One thing to keep in mind is that the main point of this suit is that it's made out of Wakanda's greatest resources, which is the strongest metal on Earth, vibranium. And he uses the properties of vibranium to his advantage thanks to the suit's ability to absorb and redistribute kinetic energy, which is pretty dope. So, at the end of the car chase scene, he finally gets his hands on Claw. However, he is tasked to bring this guy to CIA. things get really hectic when Claw decides it's a good idea to just talk some smack. But Eric Killmonger and his girlfriend and a couple of goons decide to break him out. Decide to break out Claw. In the midst of this, Everett Ross is injured, and T'Challa decides to have him sent to Wakanda where he can be put under their care. But the ladies aren't too thrilled with the idea of having a white dude in Wakanda, which I find it to be a bunch of BS. I mean, after all, you got Winter Soldier and Steve Rogers in Wakanda. Or I guess it's because of T'Challa's request. But let's move on. So, yeah, as they get there, they patch his wounds and stuff, and they do a fantastic job with that. But T'Challa wants answers. The guy that set Claw free just so happens to be Wakandan, and his advisors and dignitaries are like, we will not have this. But T'Challa still wants some answers, so he seeks the help of the guy who helped him out in the ritual. And it turns out that he is the son of T'Chaka's brother. And T'Chaka killed his own brother due to the fact that the vibranium was stolen. And now Killmonger wants to go to Wakanda so he can reclaim the throne. So he can avenge his father's death. T'Challa finds out about all this, and he is not too much pleased. And to add salt to the already destroyed. And to add salt to this freaking wound, he has to tell his buddy that he failed in getting Claw. Meanwhile, Claw and Killmonger and the gang decide to go to Wakanda. But Claw is a little hesitant on this. But Killmonger is like, you know what, screw this transaction. I'm taking the vibranium. I'm taking my ass to Wakanda. You ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna shoot you. And take your carcass take the carcass to my people. Yeah, right, your people. You're going to exploit their asses. So he goes to Wakanda. But not before killing his girlfriend and Claw in the process. As such, he takes Claw's dead body to the people of Wakanda. But despite this, the Wakandans see him as an outsider. But they're not above answering his request of, hey, you know what? I want to see the king. Because I want vengeance. Because Killmonger is about that vengeance. So, that said, the two finally meet. And Killmonger is like, you know what? I want the throne. I want everything you stole. T'Challa's trying to basically reason with the dude, but to no avail, blah, blah, blah. Please bear with me. My mind is kind of fuzzy, especially after seeing the movie once. But from what I can gather, it's like he's still pissed off. He reveals his Wakandan heritage. Because here's the thing, like, when they do this, and when they have vibranium markings, that's proof enough that you are anything Wakandan, let alone royalty. But another thing that Age of Ultron also stated is that if you're given a certain type of marking from a Wakandan, that means you're a bad person. And that means you are a bad person and you are using them for their vibranium just as much as a guy using a girl for sex. And they don't like you for it. Trespassing on Wakandan property, you get called a trespasser. Steal their vibranium or whatever materials they have, you're called a thief. Murder and torture and rape somebody from Wakanda, congratulations, you'll be called all of these via a very hot tattoo. And I'm not talking about a tattoo in a positive light. I'm talking about a smoldering hot branding. As for Killmonger, every dot he has represents a kill. Because the guy has been around, murdering, killing, and assassinating government officials and things like that, and world leaders. He's all about destabilization through blood and violence. And a couple of other things I'm pretty sure this movie won't tell us. So, rather than have him imprisoned, T'Challa decides to face him. So, with that said, we're given another challenge. We're given another challenge for the throne. Except for T'Challa loses and is thrown off the ledge. And is thrown into the waterfall. Presumed dead. Killmonger takes the throne as king. After given a piece, and after given the heart-shaped fruit, and he has the powers of the Black Panther. Not wanting anyone after him, because of his "before me there were many, after me there will be none" attitude, he decides to have the Garden of Heart-Shaped Fruits burned completely, so that he will be the only one ruling until death. His family and some of his royal guards leave Wakanda out of fear of being killed, executed, or worse. Killmonger decides that his first order of business is to distribute every single vibranium-made weapon across the globe to terrorists and all that such. Their only option left now is to steal the last of the heart-shaped fruit and go to the closest and most trustworthy tribe they can get to. They go to Jabari. They go to Jabali. It's there that they meet their king and ask him to use the fruit. But the king refuses and tells them that their beloved true king is still alive. Just under intensive snow care, because snow stabilizes their conditions and whatnot, blah blah blah. I'm sorry, I'm not a huge science major here, which is funny because I passed my science portion of the graduation test on my first try. But, yeah. They reunite with T'Challa, and they heal him using the fruit. It's here that T'Challa meets with his father once more to uncover the truth. And boy, what would have made this even great is if T'Challa punched his father in the stomach after finding out that he was living a lie this whole time. Now, here's the thing. Whether you read the comic book or watch this movie, I want to take a break to talk about Wakanda. Wakanda is a place that is not known for sharing any of their resources in public. And Killmonger, for as black or white as I make my description of him, really has some dimensions about him. He's pissed off about a lot of things. Though I do not like the idea that he is ruling Wakanda through violence and bloodshed and trying to expand the borders just to suit his agenda, he's rightfully pissed off to a certain extent. Mainly because Wakanda does not like to share with people. And he wants Wakanda to use their resources for all the world to see. Because here's the thing. This man has seen some stuff. He has seen communities torn down. He has seen people tortured, slaughtered. And what does Wakanda do? Hoard all the vibranium and every single resource to themselves. Throughout his entire time in this movie, Killmonger has called out Wakanda for all of its bullshit. Because Wakanda has done just about little next to fuck all in helping other nations. In fact, T'Challa's ex-girlfriend, T'Challa's love interest, the general, is like, she wants to go all across the globe and expand her horizons and help various communities worldwide. In her eye, in both her and Killmonger's eyes, it's high time for Wakanda to broaden their borders and close down their walls and start helping people. However, with the only difference is the general, she wants to help families. She wants to help families across the globe. She wants to help communities. She wants to put an end to hunger, unnecessary, unsolicited wars, human trafficking, and all that such. Killmonger, he just wants to kill people. He wants to kill anyone who is an enemy, who he deems as an enemy to the nation. Now, I can see why Wakanda can appear selfish. It's because their vibranium, which is their key resource, is constantly stolen, despite their nation being constantly privatized one wall at a time. And it's not just Claw, it's other terrorist organizations and guerrilla factions that want the vibranium so that they can subdue and conquer nations. Since vibranium is a very powerful metal, or rather a very powerful alloy, they want to use that to their advantage. So there's a lot of gray with that. And two of the key characters in this movie really bring that up in conversation. That is the whole point. Wakanda needs to broaden its borders and share its resources with the world, especially in certain areas and environments. But at the same time, they're afraid that if they do that, certain people will exploit their resources for what they are and use it for war. That's not what the general wants, but that's certainly what Killmonger wants. All because of vengeance. And he's taking his vengeance on every single country. He's pissing on Wakanda for not sharing. And he's pissing on the world for what they have done. Killmonger is basically the everyday black person with a chip on their shoulder after learning about the history of Black America and blacks entirely and Africans as a whole for all the torture that they have endured over the years. Rather than setting an example by demonstrating a different type of behavior as opposed to those whom he hates and cannot stand, he acts on vengeance and acts just like them. Something that T'Challa calls him out on in the climactic fight. But yeah, the leader of the Royal Guard and her boyfriend, or rather husband, finally make amends in the midst of the war. In the midst of the Civil War. No, not the 2016 movie or the 2006 comic. I'm talking about the Wakandan War, blah, blah, blah. In short, the real Black Panther and his family and allies had to put an end to Killmonger's plan on destroying the world through violence and warfare with the use of vibranium. Eric K. Ross gets his moment to shine, gets his turn to shine in his character arc, where he relives his Air Force days. Because it's revealed in the movie that he used to work for the United States Air Force and later decides to work for Central Intelligence. But yeah, anyway, he shoots down the vibranium reserves that are about to be distributed worldwide. That scene is pretty cool. Shuri gets her moment to shine along with the Royal Guard. Whereas Angela Bassett's character as the Queen of Wakanda, she is in the Jabali Nation where she is safe. Black Panther and Killmonger get their time to shine in their climactic battle. And Killmonger gets what's coming to him in the form of death. T'Challa wants to save him in an attempt to have him start over, but Killmonger's life, he would rather face death at his own home rather than be a free man in a world where people are tortured. In a world where his people are tortured. The battle ends, Killmonger is dead, time passes, and the battle gives everybody in Wakanda time to think. Especially for their king. So T'Challa decides, you know what? I think it's time we really expand our borders. Make some outreach centers. Feed the homeless. Help young kids in various countries get out the streets and into some good jobs. Form good education programs and things like that. So there is some bit of message right there. And to be honest, I like it. It's really cool and it's not all that preaching stuff. So, pre-credit scene. T'Challa and gang go to the United Nations and reveal their presence yet again. Afterwards, we get a post-credit scene. And afterwards, we get a post-credit scene where Shuri helps the Winter Soldier. So, that said, see you guys in Infinity War. Now, again, my long answer for this movie. It's a great film. It's a good movie. And it's really got some cool stuff. And there's a lot of fun to be had with it. The story is not preachy, thank God. Its message is very spiritual. The villain is surprisingly good. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has had a very great track record of amazing stories, but they usually come at the expense of villains. Many of their villains are hit or miss. So far, the best villains we've had in the MCU was Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, even Ultron to a closer extent early on. But arguably the best villain we've seen for Miles since Adrian Toomes is Killmonger, which I think is really cool. Killmonger is a very great villain, and I can see why. The man has a chip on his shoulder, and he's coming to Wakanda with rage and vengeance and anger and spite. Sure, he has his SJW moments here and there, but they don't tarnish it. I think that's what they want him to rep. And I think that's the character they were going for in the first place, and I can accept that. The guy has lived in a very messed up part of the US, especially in a time where urban communities are terrorized by both gangs and even law enforcement. So I could see where the message is coming from through everyone else's eyes. And to make matters worse, Wakanda at that time period has done absolute fuck all about it. Instead, they just sit comfortably hiding behind walls, hoping that nobody exploits them, except for people have done so, either by outside forces or by some of their own. Which is why King T'Chaka murdered Killmonger's dad. Now, I can't really say that T'Chaka was in the right for this. And I can't say that his brother was in the wrong either. There's a lot of confusion going on with this. Even though T'Chaka was trying to protect his nation, at the same time, he has failed to understand. He and a lot of the ruling he and all the royalty of Wakanda have, for years, turned a blind eye to society, out of fear and out of confusion. And that's what's going on. Wakanda is hardly ever safe in this. Neither side is perfect. Killmonger might be wrong for the things that he has done, and he may have gotten his comeuppance, but at the same time, you can't help but sympathize with him. He has seen the torture firsthand. He has seen hell firsthand. And it doesn't help much that he's of Wakandan heritage, yet still being seen as just another black dude in America. Now he wants vengeance, and he's dedicated his entire life to it. He has joined various military branches. He has succeeded in his kill missions. He's climbed up the ranks. But with that said, he has gone about expressing his grief in the most unhealthy way. And you see that a lot in real life too. A lot of people who want to see their lives, their livelihoods, and their people validated do so at the price of safety, do so at the price of freedom. In some ways, what I see in him is vigilance at the cost of his life, at the cost of his livelihood, at the cost of his own sanity. He has made a living off of and throughout his life, he has made a living out of killing people, ever since his father was killed. But in the sense of wanting Wakanda to wake up and actually open themselves to the world, you can understand him to an extent. This is kind of like Adrian Toomes. He was cheated, no thanks to the disaster control in the American government, and now he wants vengeance on them. And what better way to do so than to distribute powerful weapons? Basically, Killmonger is the young black Adrian Toomes, minus having a daughter and a family. Adrian Toomes has somebody to fight for. Killmonger, despite all this, and despite that said, still lives for himself. Sure, he does claim so, and maybe he's right. Maybe he wants to expand Wakanda. Maybe he wants Wakanda to be a little more well-rounded and open-minded. But he's doing so with a cold heart and with a murderous attitude. Toomes is doing so by killing people from afar, selling weapons to other criminals, to mafias, to various parts of the black market, blah blah, and so forth. But he's doing so to support his family. This is the divide between Toomes, and it's here we see the divide between Toomes and Eric Stevens. Toomes wants his family to live lavishly. Killmonger wants vengeance for the sake of vengeance. Killmonger wants vengeance for his father, who probably wanted to distribute the vibranium to satisfy their own personal agenda. Now, if you really want Wakanda to wake up, I don't think this is the right idea. But at the same time, had it not been for this, T'Challa would not have learned how to be a proper king. He will not have learned anything. He will not have grown as a character. At least Killmonger did a fantastic job in forcing the main hero to grow. Toomes and Killmonger did an impressive job in giving the heroes a new perspective to think about. Peter Parker has gone into the whole superhero thing through rose-colored glasses, thinking that he can be an Avenger just by fighting evil, when the whole hero business is actually a little more life-threatening than he makes it sound. T'Challa, on the other hand, is given a life lesson on how to be a proper ruler and how to be a righteous king by seeing how Bad King operates things. So in the end, T'Challa is like, I see what Killmonger is getting at. A lot of communities are in danger across the globe and we have done nothing but hoard the vibranium for ourselves. Sorry I'm doing it in this voice, but I'm pretty sure that's his thought process after his fight with Killmonger. I'll consider what basically, in the end, he's like, I'll consider what Killmonger is doing. I'll consider what Killmonger was trying to get at, but I'll do so in the right way. I won't rule Wakanda like my father did. I'll rule the nation the way I want to, and that is to save the world, help communities. You're just in time, Heartless Hunter. Sadly, this isn't a Kingdom Hearts stream, this is a Black Panther stream. But yeah, as I was saying, T'Challa now at the end of the movie is like, now I want to help now I want to help save the world. Again, T'Challa now is like, I want to help the world. I want to save it. And I want to do so by giving every single nation, every community that is in danger, the keys to the kingdom. His love interest has the bright idea. But yeah, at least Killmonger left knowing that T'Challa now has a clear conscience. T'Challa now has the tools, now realizes that he and his kingdom has the tools necessary to protect the world. And it's good that he's come to that point, because Infinity War is about to come soon, Thanos is about to kick some ass and take names, and things are about to get crazy. So the pieces are now being set in motion, and Infinity War is about to begin. What I got from it is, now I can't guarantee the length of the stream, but I will say this. Black Panther is a great movie with a great message, and the message I got from it is, it's good to see things from a different viewpoint. Always open your mind to things. Don't be so selfish, and don't try to develop an open mind at the cost of your own sanity. Sometimes even the people with the most ludicrous world views might have an interesting point. It's good to have a sense of solidarity, but at the same time, you should open yourself to things. You should try new things. You should expand your resources to folks. Don't be selfish. Help someone out. Don't turn a blind eye to what is wrong with people. Lend a hand. I mean, it's okay to lend a hand. It doesn't matter who they are. If they're in need of something, help them out. Just be sure not to cast your pearls before swine. Wakanda's philosophy up until the near end of the film was don't share your resources with anyone because they might screw things up. And we've seen that viewpoint justified a couple of times in Age of Ultron and in some parts of Civil War. Mostly Age of Ultron because Claw and a couple of people from Wakanda who basically defected and whatnot decided to distribute this stuff, decided to distribute the vibranium to various nations, or rather to criminal organizations. We've seen this happen. And with that, we can understand why they want to keep their nation private and hidden from outsiders. In fact, you see that kind of attitude, especially when you see Everett K. Ross show up in the door. In fact, Shuri has went so far as to call him a colonizer, just because of his skin color. Like, geez, Shuri, don't you think that's a little racist? So all of a sudden, all white people are colonizing bastards? Sure, some of them still think it's 1956 and whatever, but geez, calm your ass down. We see this attitude. We see that kind of attitude in Wakanda. It's nice to see it change a little bit, at least. We see hints of that happen in Civil War, where T'Challa ultimately helps Captain America restore his best friend's mind. But in the movie, we see T'Challa actually opening the borders of Wakanda in full force. New programs are being opened to the public and things like that. He goes to the United Nations and basically says, hey, guess what? Wakanda exists. It's just that we've been hiding under the shadows for too long, and we just want to share things with you. Just as long as I have your word that you guys will help each other out. Something like that. So ultimately, it's like, yeah. Sorry for the dead silence, but Outer Universe, though a lot of people's take on Black Panther is kind of nice and uplifting, so nice and sweet sounding, I can't help but see a breed of Killmongerish chips on their shoulders when they say that it's about freaking time that black representation's a thing. Like we never got good black characters before. Sure, Black Panther's the first African superhero and whatnot. But knowing Black America today, I mean, yeah, we got a couple of races here and there. Racism still exists and blah, blah, blah. But I think you're missing the whole point of Black Panther. The main theme about it is learning to lend a helping hand. If you got it, share it with the world. You have this remarkable blessing that has been thrown to you from outer space, so why not be a blessing to folks? As long as you got a discerning heart and a clear head, there's no telling how good you can be at helping people, especially other nations. Previous generations have failed in that aspect. I bet you some of them have even gone so far as to murder people just on principle of even entering their own land. So, yeah. So, with Instagram about to end its live stream, I'm about to end the live stream also in a few seconds. But yeah, to sum things up, it's a great movie. The music is good, everything matches, and it's pretty. And I think you should go see it. So, yeah. Now, for the good folks of YouTube, before I end, I still want to continue my recommendation and overall take on this movie. But yeah, all in all, Black Panther is a great movie. The one message I took from it is, if you have it, don't be afraid to... Bear with me, folks. Too many drop frames here. Yo, what the hell? My god, I can't even... Oh my god, I can't even say goodbye properly on this stream right now. What is going on here? Alright. Yeah, right, stream complete. Why is the connection sucking? Ready at any time now. Yo, come on. Quit playing. Yo, stop playing. Okay. Come on, stream, stop playing around. This has to be the worst L ever. Yeah, put it as low as hell. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Alright, so my general take on Black Panther as a whole. Black Panther is practically the best movie. It's practically the best movie I've ever seen in my entire life since Winter Soldier, since Captain America Winter Soldier. It's a great way of it's a great representation of one of Marvel's premier heroes. It's got a great message of being a proper and giving nation. It's got a great villain, it's got a great hero, it's got a great cast. The soundtrack is awesome. And contrary to what some fans think, it really teaches a lesson on how to become a great person of responsibility, how to help people in need, how to be anything but selfish, If you got what it takes, then why not dish it out? Why not help people with it? Use your resources for something positive, something that can help change the world, rather than be selfish and hog all the cool stuff, let alone the vibranium, to yourself. Don't give other nations, especially they really need it, that scoff look. Learn to help people, no matter who they are. But another thing to take from it, at least in my personal opinion, is as you're giving, again with the connection. Yo, stop playing. Why, thank you, Arkbone. The L's are completely unnecessary right now. But yeah. We're gonna be here all day. But yeah. To answer your question, I think Black Panther is a phenomenal film. The message I got out of it is that if you got the resources, if you got what it takes, help somebody out. And when you do so, you have to also come to the realization that sometimes people don't want to be helped. It's a matter of letting them make that decision as well. We see that with Killmonger as he decides to basically end his own life in the very nation that he's always dreamed about. But yeah, I was just about to end the stream on the note of Black Panther is a cool movie. You should definitely watch it and pick out the messages for yourself. Even if we disagree on the message, still watch Black Panther. It's a kick-ass movie regardless of what anyone thinks. Regardless of what people got out of it. It's really awesome. The characters are amazing. The villain is good. Like, sure, Killmonger's a dick, but he does have a few good points. Like, go to your local theater if you don't care for spoilers. Watch the film. Be sure to do so with food. And please stick around for the post-credit scenes. Just do that. I'm real sick and tired of your shit, internet. Like, I cannot stress this enough. It's an awesome movie to watch. I definitely watch it again. It's got a lot of great action scenes. The actors are really good in their performances. Also, it's been a long time since I've seen Forest Whitaker and Angela Bassett. Like, dead serious. But Black Panther is a great movie worth watching. You should go to your cinema and just watch the damn movie. It is awesome. It'll definitely hold you out until Infinity War. So, I'm going for right now, but you can catch me on Thursday. I will be hosting my final stream of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. And this is Showa signing off. Jenny, see you later. And yeah, watch Black Panther in theaters now. Do it.